There's a sound one doesn't normally associate with motorcycle racing. Horses' hooves. But they're horses' hooves with a difference. For they belong to one of those patient animals which pull the famous old toast-track trams along Douglas Promenade in the Isle of Man. The Isle of Man. 4 words that are dear to motorcyclists everywhere. Words that conjure up visions of the finest road racing circuit in the world. A circuit whose history stretches back to 1911 and which has bred the world's finest riders. But now it's 1958. Thursday, June the 5th, 1958 to be precise. And time for the weigh-in for tomorrow's senior TT. So let's join this bunch of enthusiasts and ride up to the Glen Crutchery Road. And there by the grandstand is the familiar sight of the riders handing in their machines for storage overnight. It gives me a chance to talk to some of them. The brilliant young Mike Halewood, for instance.
Well, congratulations on the jolly fine show so far. How did you enjoy your dice with Bob Brown yesterday?
Oh, it was very, very nice, but once he had a slight touch at the Manx arm, it's too streamlining touch.
Yeah, well, how do you like the clips in relation to the mountain circuit?
Well, I think they're about the same, really.
You do? That's a very interesting opinion, because most people prefer the mountain, but there's something about the clips, because it's narrow, and it's like the mountain course used to be in my day.
From Mike to Australia's Bob Brown, this year on a very potent Norton.
I've just been looking at your machine, Bob. It looks to me as though you've got on the special engine, haven't you?
Yes, quite a nice one too.
It is.
And it's very smooth. The smoothest 500 I've ever ridden, actually, barring the Jalera, of course.
And how do you think it compares for Max with the normal type?
Well, much superior, actually.
Yes, and you gain acceleration, I take it,
Yes.
more than anything else. Pulling roughly the same gear?
A little bit higher, actually.
Actually pulling higher with the short stroke engine.
Yes.
That's very interesting indeed. Well, you are obviously getting more power right through the range.
Yes, very good.
And so it proved to be. Now listen to Robert Webster, all the way from Canada.
What do you think of it, Robert, now you've seen the course?
Oh, I'm enjoying myself very much.
Nothing like the Rockies, but a bit rough.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
And what do you think? Have you had experience of mist on the mountain at all in the practicing?
Oh, not really, no.
Tell me, you've obviously read about the course before you came over here, heard about it for years. How did it conform with what you conjured up in your mind before you got here?
Oh, it's more or less what I expected, but I never thought Bray Hill would be that steep.
Oh, that bumpy on
Yeah.
the bets, yes. Of course, the road is bumpy, but at least you're lucky having arrived as late as you have, because in my day it was white, very dusty, and about half the width.
After 2 long years away from the TT, Jeff Duke was back again, this time on a German BMW. And how did he feel?
Well, I think it's all in the lap of the gods myself, really. I mean, these things are never decided until the checkered flag drops. But I'm looking forward to it.
Are you happier on the BMW than you were earlier on?
Yes, much happier. It's certainly going like a bomb anyway. I think it's a matter of getting a little bit more used to the machine, and I'll certainly have plenty of time to do that tomorrow in 7 laps down here anyway.
That's true. Well, I sincerely hope, and I know I speak for everybody when I said I hope you learn what you don't know, if there's anything you don't know, in the first lap, because we'd love to see a scrap between you and John.
But unfortunately, we were fated not to see it. For Jeff retired on the 2nd lap with brake trouble. There were 2 Italian Works MVs in the senior this year, and John Hartle was riding one of them.
Oh, here comes number 42, John Hartle, on one of the very much fancied senior MV 4-cylinder jobs, known as the fire engines. John had rotten luck. Just a bit, I'll have a word with him. John, what happened to you in the junior TT on Monday? I understand you blew a pot off, is that right?
Yes, that's right. A piston broke up.
Where did it happen?
Coming away from the mounting box.
Well, I trust you've got all 4 nailed on securely for tomorrow.
I hope so.
Next thing is you've got to hand in, as you know, and get your accessories marked up, so best of luck to you. Well, John Hartle's just coming up to the point where there's a desk behind the pits. Lovely sunlight, beautifully warm day, and you'll hear called out the names of the various accessories that we'll use in the race. And they, of course, will be checked afterwards to make sure that he has ridden according to the specification he now hands in.
carburetor. Del Auto, Lucas, Lodge, Avon, MV, Regina, brake linings, John.
Perodo.
Brake linings,
Perodo.
Perodo, Mobil gas, Mobil oil, piston and rings. They're standard.
Well, that's the voice of an Italian explaining the make of rings and pistons.
Suspension, Girling, valve springs,
Cagnola.
standard. Rev counter,
Smith.
Smith. Thank you very much, John. Good luck.
And now John pushes his machine along to the tent where it'll be stored overnight and fetched out tomorrow morning an hour before the race commences.
Jack Ahern was over from Australia again and giving the new single-cylinder G50 Matchless its first TT airing.
Oh, now, Jack, you've been galloping this in practice. How does it compare with the twin, for example?
Well, I think it's better.
You're more flexible.
More flexible and much easier to ride than the twin was.
Full of higher gear.
Full higher gear. In fact, it's very high.
Would you like to say how high? Or is that a fair question? All right,
no,
okay,
I don't
well,
know.
we'll skip that one. It's before the race, isn't it? Well, the very best of luck, Jack, and this really is what the TT's for, isn't it? To carry out experiments of this type. Now, let's hope it becomes a standard production in due course, like the 350 Boy Racer.
Well, and so it did. Next, the man who'd finished third in the Monday's Junior TT, Jeff Tanner.
Well, Jeff, what are you going to do about it tomorrow?
Oh, we'll just have to see how the bike goes. I'm intending to finish if I can. You know, that is the main thing that I'm concerned with.
Well, now you're a married man. You only just got married, I know. You've got to be careful, but it seems to me this marriage thing's a good thing because you've done better since you got married, haven't you?
Yeah, that's true. Still, maybe I'm bashing to get back. You never know.
Now the man everybody would be watching was world champion and 1956 senior TT winner, John Surtees. He'd already won the junior race on Monday, and how the crowds at the weigh-in were clamouring for his autograph. I was finally able to get John aside for one quick question. How did he feel about doing the double?
Well, I'm rather apprehensive because when everybody tells me it's dead certain, well, I'm always very wary then. Just be a normal race and we'll ride it that way and we'll try our best. If it's good enough, well.
I've got an idea. I should be congratulating you tomorrow night, John, anyway.
And how right I was. But now, with all the machines safely in the tent for the night, came time to rest. Time that went like a flash. So soon it was the big day, Friday, senior race day, with those powerful horns giving the signal for the warming up period. Now all is quiet. 74 riders are lined up on the grid, ready to start their 7-lap, 264-mile journey at 10-second intervals. First, the bang of the starting maroon, and then off went number 1, W.R. Roberton, on his 350 Norton. Then Derek Powell, also on the Norton. Number 3 was Manxman Jackie Wood on a matchless twin. After him came Jim Redmond from Rhodesia on the Norton. Then Sid Mizzen on yet another Norton. And now we're up to number 20, the one and only Jeff Duke. And he made a magnificent start on his BMW twin. Seven miles from the start is Ballacrane, and already on lap 1, Duke on the BMW had caught the Nortons of John Anderson and Hereward Boyce. Behind them, New Zealand's Peter Pawson was going well in his first senior TT. Meanwhile, John Hartle was going like a streak. In 7 miles, his MV had gained 50 seconds on Katner's VSA. A bunch of singles. Australian Dick Thompson's Norton and fellow Aussie Terry Dunn's AJS. Followed by Jeff Tanner's Norton. Seven seconds later came Alan Crown. Now a single, a 4 and a twin. Bob Brown's Norton, John Surtees MV and Barry Courtbreen's Matchless rounding Ballacrane. We'll leapfrog on 27 miles now to Kate's Cottage, almost at the foot of the mountain, to hear the Nortons of George Catlin and Alistair King blast round and drop down to Craignabar. And at the Craig itself there's a whole bunch with John... Then Keith Campbell and Sparrow Costain on a couple of Nortons. Now the Scarlet MV of John Surtees hurtles down from Kate's, leading easily on time. Next, 8 seconds after on the road, but nearly 2 minutes behind on time, comes Harry Hinton. Here's Dickie Dale's BMW. one lap, Surtees led by 10 seconds. But in second place was the brilliant Scot, Bob McIntyre. Here he is with New Zealander Noel McCutcheon at Braddon Bridge on lap 2. On quickly to the descent to Craignabar, the 3 past Nortons. Bob Anderson in 5th place. Now McCutcheon. And next Derek Minter in 9th place, but only 6 seconds behind Anderson. This is another brilliant Norton rider, Dave Chadwick, slowing down to take Craignabar. 3 now at Braddon Bridge. And leading by 14 seconds, John Surtees is over the 100 mark. Then a close scrap. Mike Hailwood leading Australia's Eric Hinton. Half distance, John Hartle was in a secure second place after McIntyre's 3rd lap retirement. Here's Hartle's MV at Quarterbridge. And next on the road were Brian Perslow and Kiwi John Anderson. Number 71, George Catlin, at court number 44, Sparrow Costain. And Brian Setchell had just overhauled South Africa's Horace Solani. G45 matched his twin next, and it certainly sounded in good shape. "33 miles on at the Craig, Bob Anderson and Derek Minter were still at it. Anderson first, still in 5th place.
The 12th man that we have to get from
Still only 7 seconds behind him. Davy Chadwick was up to 12th place by now. And there go Albert Moule and B.W. Cottle. At the Craig on lap 4, New Zealander John Anderson had caught his teammate Noel McCutcheon. Still in second place, but only 3 miles away from the disastrous fire that destroyed it, was Hartle's MV. Here it is with Jim Redmond's Norton, followed by Derek Powell. Let's finish lap 4 with 3 very distinctive sounds. First, Jackie Wood's matchless twin. Next, Brian Thurslow's Norton single. And finally, John Surtees' MV4. Lap 5 at Quarterbridge, and Bob Anderson leading on the roads, fourth in the race. Then Derek Minter, 15 seconds behind him, and now in 5th place. And that other scrap between Noel McCutcheon and John Anderson was still going on too. With Hartle out, Alistair King was now second. He whistled round Quarterbridge with Bill Smith and R.A. Rowbottom, followed by Philip Farmer's Norton. By lap 6, John Surtees led Alistair King, who was fated to crash and retire on his last lap, by over 5 minutes. Here's how John took the sweeping right-hander at Hilbury, so it wasn't altogether surprising. A slow corner now, very slow, Governor's Bridge. And round it goes the AJS of American John Markoff. On and on sped the invincible John Surtees, and this is how his finish was described by the public address commentator. Off the course and into the paddock rode John. And soon I was able to talk to him and ask him if his slower laps at the end of the race were deliberate.
Yes, we gradually reduced revs. We started off the race with about 10,000, leaving a margin of about 400 on the safe maximum, and gradually reduced it during the race.
Yes, because you were down to about a 95 lap at the end, whereas you were doing 100 in the early stages. It's quite a big
Yes,
jump.
yes. Well, the thing is, it could have kept it up quite comfortably, but the thing is, it's best to be safe and solid.
I couldn't agree more. Did you have any troubles at all on the journey?
None whatsoever.
I bet you enjoyed your last lap.
Yes,
For a
very
change.
nice.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would say last laps are usually anxious things, but you must have been sitting, quite literally sitting. I've never seen a man sit up straighter coming down the country road than you did.
So ended a brilliant ride by a truly brilliant rider. The TT double for John Surtees. But let's not forget that fantastic 99.89 miles an hour lap by Bob McIntyre on a single-cylinder Manx Norton. As ever, this TT was full of excitement, full of incident, and proved once again that in all the world there's just no other race like it.
नजर आना है तो देर किस बाकी, बालों में जो रंग लाए चेहरे पे मुस्कान भी